Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to our session today. I'm Ray Fraunhofer, the managing partner of PPC Group LLC and the author of Accidental Agile Project Manager. This is an opportunity for us today to take a little break from US politics, which have been dominating the news around the world. And today we're welcoming you all to the official book launch. Also, for those of you who may want to learn both Agile and traditional project management, we're launching a new online course, Fundamentals of the PROJECT, or Project Management Method, Predictive Edition. So I want to start by welcoming everyone. Thank you all for being a part of this. I would invite you all to share with each other. If you'd like to put your links to your LinkedIn profiles in the chat so that everybody can share and link together, please feel free to do that. I do ask if you do chat, don't chat with me privately, it'll only confuse things. Just put your message to everyone. Also, I do need to start out by saying that this meeting is being recorded, as you've probably heard. And also, I would ask that you remain on mute throughout the meeting. So thanks again for being here. As a special for the launch of the book, all Kindle editions of all of my books, Accidental Project Manager, Accidental Agile Project Manager, and Risk Assessment Framework, are all available for $1 throughout this month in your local Kindle marketplace on Amazon. Now, I'm also, as a grand prize today, going to give away a signed set of all 3 books. I will sign and inscribe them, plus a free access to the new course. So stay tuned until the end to find out how to qualify for that. But I'd like to start by sharing a little bit of information about the importance of this book in the project management world, and by starting to describe the difference between agile and predictive project management. So, as most project managers know, one of the most critical choices that has to be made early in a project is what type of project development lifecycle is going to be used. Well, the PMBOK guide gives us 4 major choices, plus a 5th, which is a hybrid of all the previous 4. Predictive and agile are certainly the 2 most prominent. Agile has certainly been gaining a lot of attention. This morning, in fact, I read a poll that said that about 46% of all organizations have used or are using agile in some form, either purely or as a hybrid model, and that a little over 85% of all software organizations are employing agile project management. So now, this isn't to say that one is meant to replace or supersede the other. Both have their purposes. So predictive project life cycles are characterized by defining scope completely, or as completely as possible, up front. So that means that once the scope is known, there's a design, there's maybe some build of the product or creation of the service or other results that we're trying to achieve through the project, and then there is a test or a quality check, and finally the end product gets into the customer's hands. Now, this is ideal when there's a fixed time, fixed budget, maybe very well-known scope, and these circumstances are usually contractual or legal in nature, to have some sort of deadline. So if you want to meet a deadline, predictive is probably the best way to go. Not to say that agile can't be used, but we'll talk about that further as we go on. Now, Agile, on the other hand, welcomes new requirements as the project unfolds. So as the project progresses, more requirements can be brought in. Now, that makes it an excellent choice for projects where we're perhaps trying to get some customer feedback, maybe because the requirements are uncertain. So we want to build a part of the project, get the customer to review it, give us some feedback, and go on. So it can also be used to provide value to customers incrementally. So in the new Accidental Agile Project Manager book, I talk about a software project where a company that has online streaming of classical movies is looking for a software solution. And they don't know exactly what they want, but there's going to be some time dedicated to build out the various features. Now, that means that perhaps with a certain amount of development, the system could be made available to their customers for use, maybe earlier than if we were waiting for the entire project to be built. And then with more feedback, they may expand on the site, provide more features to their customers, allow them to look up movies in new and unique ways and so on, and build it out over time. Now, I think one of the problems with Agile is it's often mistaken for speed. It's not necessarily about speed, although there can be some early usable software or other usable results. It's more about flexibility, right? And I was just reading the other day an example of how Agile can be applied in construction, right? You build a shell of a building, and perhaps the penthouse office suite is the most expensive property in the building. You want to get it rented quickly. You work with the construction and decorating teams to get that penthouse suite ready before anything else in the building is. And then maybe you do the next 5 floors, which are designated to be a hotel. And then the floors below, which are going to be office space. And then finally the ground level, which is going to be storefronts, right? The idea behind Agile can be very easily applied to construction and almost any industry with only some minor modifications. So what are the consequences, though, if we do choose the wrong life cycle? Well, I can point to a very famous example here in the United States. Many of you may remember President Obama, and he had a concept called Obamacare for healthcare for all Americans. And there was a legislated deadline by which a website had to be available so that all US citizens could check their eligibility for Obamacare and could sign up in what were state-driven local marketplaces for insurance. Right? So this was a legislated deadline. On the legislated go-live date, the end product was barely tested. There were security flaws. There were other incomplete issues, and it was barely usable. The project, which had chosen to use Agile to meet this legislated deadline, was obviously going to overrun by a significant amount. And indeed, it took $96 million and an additional year until that website was really usable by everyone. So it is very important then as a project manager to understand the difference between these life cycles and choose the life cycle that's best suited for your project. So with that, I do want to introduce Accidental Agile Project Manager. Having a little bit of trouble with the virtual background here, getting the book to show. There we go. And the book contains critical information for aspiring, new, and accidental project managers and the information they need to know to manage their first agile projects. So it's not meant to cover everything about agile project management and agile project managers. It's meant to provide some beginning information to get you started successfully quickly. Now, like Accidental Project Manager, the book uses a business fable, a variety of mnemonics, including the PROJECT management method, which is a project management method independent of the project development lifecycle. These attributes in the book make the material more relatable and memorable to help assure your success. So to commemorate the launch, until the end of November, again, the Kindle edition of these books will sell for just $1. And online, you can get a free, numbered, limited signed copy just for covering the shipping and handling cost. And we'll provide a link in the chat before we go. But today, I want to give away 5 copies totally free. So for the first 5 people who email me, either from this event, who've attended live, or who've listened to the replay, I will provide them a free copy. You can be anywhere in the world. So email me at rayf@ppcgroup.us, and I'm going to type that in the chat. What I do ask is that you include your full postal delivery address and a phone number that the deliverer can use in the event that they're unable to locate you. So it's only that information, your name, the delivery address, and your phone number, solely for the purpose of the delivery information, so that we can be assured that the book gets to you. So thank you again for attending, and please take a few minutes as necessary, either during the presentation or after, to submit your emails. The first 5, again, will be selected. Now, for many years, I've been teaching the fundamental concepts of project management. I started with UC San Diego Extension around 2002, 2003. Their official records show that I started in 2004. And folks, please do not put your address in the chat. This chat is going to be shared publicly. So please send me an email to keep your personal information personal. I'm not going to sell your information. I'm not going to share it with anyone else. I never make robocalls. So please send your information in an email so that I can get the right information and get it to the US Postal Service. They have international agreements with most countries. In some countries, I may be able to track the delivery, in others I may not. But they do ask that I provide a way of contacting you outside of the delivery address, so that your country's postal service can make sure it gets delivered. All right, so again, for many years, I've been teaching the fundamental concepts of project management. In 2004, according to the official records, but I have a record of a class that I did in about at the end of 2002 or beginning of 2003 for UC San Diego Extension. I've been teaching for a variety of extension and university programs throughout the San Diego area, including the University of Phoenix, California Southern University, and some other places around San Diego. I also do a lot of training in person for organizations and corporations around the US. I'm really available worldwide. Most of my business is in the US. And I work with a third-party LearnSoft who books most of my in-person events. Now, in 2018, I was thinking about the fact that a lot of the courses that I teach, according to school-developed curricula, are way too advanced for project managers. I did a class for the San Diego Community College District, and I could see that a lot of the topics were just going over students' heads. They didn't need this information now. A project management career and certification is a minimum of a 3 to 6 year endeavor. To push all the information at you in one beginning class is really a lot. So in 2018, I worked with Dr. John Estrella. He was a business consultant and mentor for me, and we developed the PROJECT management method. So the acronym stands for Powered by People, big for requirements, organize objectives, gel with the team, execute effortlessly, control casually, and transfer and transform. So unlike the 10 knowledge areas and 5 process groups that you find in the 600 plus page PMBOK guide, which are sometimes difficult to remember, the essential information is distilled into 7 memorable main topics, and each topic has perhaps a further breakdown of 3 or 4 topics. Now, based on the book Accidental Project Manager, which was designed for predictive projects, I've now created a short course that takes between 4 and 12 hours to complete. It's called Fundamentals of the Project Management Method. We've packaged it with an ebook version of Accidental Project Manager, and you can get an ebook version of Accidental Agile Project Manager as well. But right now, I'd like to give away 3 free copies of access to the course. Now, I'm going to do this by putting a link in the chat. You're going to sign up for the free Accidental Agile Project Manager ebook. Once you have the ebook, you're going to be shown an offer for the course. Now, I'm not going to ask you to pay for the course, so just exit that page, and the first 3 that sign up for the free ebook and then exit out of the offer for the course, I will add you to the course after this event. Now, part of the reason I'm doing it this way is some of you may be managers or have project managers that work with you. Some of you may be people who would benefit directly, but maybe have had access to the course already and would make it available to others. So I will be contacting you for all of these giveaways. Who would you like to actually give it to, right? And so I will contact you privately for an email to enroll in the course. Again, please don't post other people's emails or your delivery information and phone number in the chat, as this is going to be shared publicly with the replay of this event. So with that, I'd like to open it up for author Q&A. I again ask that you remain on mute. However, you can type in the chat area, and I would ask that you address it to everyone. You can ask anything to know about the books, course, project management in general, and I'm going to answer them in turn. So let's take the next few minutes. I'd like to just give everyone an opportunity to ask any questions they might have about the book, the course, project management in general. anything that I can help you with. So I'm just going to mute myself for the next few minutes, see what questions come in. And after I've answered the questions, we're going to give away the grand prize for the day and wrap up the event. So thank you. So thank you, Dason, for your question. You've asked how much does it overlap with previous books? So I see some questions coming in, so I'm going to start answering them. So overlap-wise, of course, it covers the PROJECT method. Obviously, there are some things that are in common with agile and predictive project management, but there are also some things that are very unique to agile. So for example, I cover iterations or sprints. I cover product backlog and a different method of gathering requirements. So it's a little hard to predict exactly how much they overlap. One could say probably less than half, simply again, because there are a lot of unique features about Agile. But at the same time, there are some overlaps, but stakeholders are required for all projects. You need to understand who they are, whether it's an Agile project or not. And so there's coverage of stakeholders. So again, I'd say maybe a little less than 50% is overlap. A little bit more, or around 50%, is certainly all new and original material. And as I rewrote the book, I also added some new things about some of the things that were in common as well, right? So it really is a unique book in that it was separately researched, and although I used common parts of the story got elaborated in different ways because of the nature of it. So let's see. I have another question here, and again, thanks for these questions. So Lolita said, first of all, thank you for the course. Lolita was one of the people who helped try out the course. She said it's very promising for not only current project managers, but also for those like me who wish to actually accidentally become project managers somehow. Right. So thank you for those words. Ines, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, says thank you, Ray, for your efforts and gifts. How much I can rely on the books for the PMP exam preparations? So that's a great question. I am aligned with the PMBOK guide, number one. So that's an important alignment. What's more is for the new book, I am also aligned with PMI's Agile Practice Guide. Now, that said, right, I obviously don't cover everything. If you were to prepare for the PMP exam, it would literally be a 3 to 6 year effort because it requires 3 things. It requires a minimum amount of project management training. It requires a minimum amount of work experience. For the PMP exam, I know that it is a minimum of 3 years of work experience that has to be documented, and part of it has to be well, you don't have to have a project management title, you really have to be doing some of the work of a project manager. And if you try to absorb the whole PMBOK guide, which is over 600 pages, the Agile Practice Guide is over 100 pages, the exam includes questions about both, you're talking about hours of very dull reading. And what's more is the exam focuses on two things. It focuses on terminology, and it focuses on some of the applications of project management. But it doesn't do so in a perfect way, right? A lot of times the PMBOK guide teaches you or talks to you about what you should do, but not how you should do it. Now, the PMBOK guide tries to cover the how, but because it is such a big document, it very often falls short. What I've tried to do in my books is give you the basic skills that you need to succeed in project management without worrying about preparing for the exam. It's a book you can read in a day or two. You can take right to work with you. It doesn't require months of study, years of preparation, years of experience in order to sit for the PMP exam. Again, what I cover, yes, you will find some of this material on the PMP exam. Does it cover everything? I can't possibly summarize over 800 pages of material plus 3 years of experience that are going to go into preparing you for the PMP exam in just one easy to read book, right? So if you're about to go for the PMP exam, you might want to, think about using this book for one of your colleagues who is just starting out. It will provide you a little bit of a refresher for the PMP exam on some of the very important topics, but it's not geared to the PMP exam to getting you to pass the exam. Now, someone else, Lolita asked again about a CAPM, about the CAPM exam. So I am preparing a course. Actually, it's more than a course. It's a roadmap to getting your CAPM certification. CAPM certification takes a lot less than the PMP. It only requires 23 hours of project management education. You might want to still have some exam prep and practice. And so I'm working on a roadmap that you can follow that will guarantee that if you follow this roadmap, you will pass the CAPM exam, and you'll do so the first time. It's offered not just with my material, but I have material from a partner company that I will direct you to. And I also will guide you to the Project Management Institute and the things that you need to do with them for preparation for the CAPM exam. I discovered I have some things that have to be completed. I'm going to be remaking the videos. It's not a long process. I just have to recompile the videos. It's a bit of computer time, but I'm going to redesign the slides a little bit, recompile the videos. I have to check some of the quizzes, and I have a webinar that's a part of the package that I have to create. My best estimate right now is that just before the end of the year or just before the beginning of the year, this will be available. Now, Ishar asked, will this be additional help to me in preparation for the CAPM exam? And again, absolutely yes, because I am covering a lot of the terminology. Now, is it all of the terminology? No, right? But again, I'm covering a lot of the essential terminology, and it would create a good review for you. Let's see, Hassan writes, I applied for the course and appreciate your generosity as I could participate. It has been very helpful for me. My question is about the future of project management and changes COVID-19 makes on everything. Well, so that's a great question, right? 2020 has been a year to remember or forget, depending on how things have impacted you. But I don't see a tremendous amount of change in project management coming from COVID-19. First of all, the demand is still going to be there. One of the things I observed is that in the heart of the pandemic, as I drove around, I saw many construction projects still in progress. I saw new renovation projects being undertaken by closed businesses. 3 or 4 businesses just in my own neighborhood have started to renovate their businesses before reopening. So there is always going to be a demand for project management. I don't think that's going to slow down very much. The Project Management Institute and others have estimated a need for 2 million plus more project managers every year through at least the year 2027. Right? That's as far forward as they've looked at, as I can tell right now. So I don't think it's going to impact the demand. I don't know that it's going to change many of the principles either. Now, for many of you, remote work and work with virtual teams is new. However, I can tell you that I started with General Electric Information Services in about 1976, 77. And very early in my career there, I had to work virtually with people around the world. So for one project I worked on, one of my colleagues was in Amsterdam, and we were sort of co-leads for the project, and I would manage things during my daytime, take notes about where things had left off, sent an email to him. It was we didn't have, the email as we know it today didn't exist, but we had our own internal email. I would send him an email at the end of the day telling him what had been done, and he'd pick up because he was 9 hours ahead of me. So we had coverage for roughly 16 hours per day as a result. Right? So virtual teams, remote project management, not all that new. In 1990, I was the program manager for the rollout of Unix workstations and Unix servers throughout GE Information Services. We had 8 US and 8 international locations that were impacted, and I didn't get to travel to all of them. I wish I did, right? But a lot of the work had to be done remotely. I had to put together, to be sure that the team put together a package that could be delivered to our remote offices such that they could replicate what we did at our headquarters building. And we would maybe send one consultant for a few days to give them a little additional training and a little hand holding while they do it. But the team obviously didn't go to everything. So COVID-19 and project management, I think that's going to be one of the least impacted things. Now, I know that people are being laid off from a lot of companies, but just as people are being laid off, new things are starting. So I think it's important to remain positive and understand that some industries may have shifting needs, but project management as a whole is not going to have a great change. So let's see. I see. Okay, so Allah was the one who actually asked the question about the PMP. All right, I don't see any more questions, and I see it's coming close to the end of 3/4 of an hour. That was the maximum time I wanted to spend. So again, I wanted to thank everyone for attending today, and as promised now, I want to give away a complete signed set of my books plus access to the course. And there are actually going to be 3 lucky winners to this, and we're going to limit it to the people who are online today. So I am actually thinking of a number between 1 and 100. Or let's see, we actually have fewer people. We had about 30 people registered, I don't think there are more than about 10 on right now. So let's make it 50. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 50, and I'm writing it down on a pad in front of me. What I'm going to invite you to do is in the chat, type your guess. Now, if you have pre-registered for this event and you're using your name, I'm going to know how to contact you. If you have not pre-registered or are not using a computer with your name, just send me your email address or the email address that you would like me to contact you about this privately, right? And after we get the guesses in, I am going to contact you on your email to ask for the information about giving the prizes to you. And again, I'm doing it this way so that if you'd like to gift them to someone else, you can feel free to do that. So I'm going to take about 20 seconds now to accept your guesses. Put your numbered guess in the chat. If I don't give away 3 now, it'll be available for the replay, people. So go ahead. We're going to take 20 seconds and take your guesses. And the 3 who come closest to my number are going to get the prize. And please, no duplicate guesses also. All right, so go right ahead. And again, if I don't know you, or if you've signed up with someone else's name, or you have it pre-registered for the event, which gives me access to your email address, please give me your guess and your email address privately. I will contact you again after the event about the prizes and how I will get them to you. So I think everyone has had an opportunity to do that. Again, the 3 closest will get the book. I'm not going to hold up somebody has been peeking. I see the exact number. So congratulations, someone. We'll be announcing the winners later. So again, I really want to thank everyone for being here. I really appreciate the support. Before the end of the day, you're going to receive one final email, which is going to have a link to the replay and the chat, the list of prize winners, and so on. And if you can give me just one moment, I am going to put in the chat right now. All right, there we go. So I've given you the information on finding the $1 Kindle copies, on the free signed limited edition, on the free PDF version, and half off the fundamentals of the project management method course. So again, thank you for being here. Everything will be addressed by the end of day today, and you'll get the replay and you'll know whether you've won a prize. So thanks again, very much appreciated. Everyone, please, it's unusual out there. Stay healthy, safe, wear your masks when you go out in public, protect yourself and others. Take care, everyone. Thank you all. Have a great
Thank you,
afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you.